So I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while. I've been studying up on different ways to create the video, making it more cinematic, making the hook, type of stories I want to tell, and at the end of the day, it didn't really match me. It didn't match the story I wanted to get across. So I'm going to go simple. I'm just going to share on camera. Some of this might be a little bit too raw, and maybe ramble a little bit, but it's how I want to get this across. And now that I'm over 50, I've lived in quite a few different countries, had a lot of failures, had a lot of success, well, a balance of failures and success, I would hope. I wanted to share a little bit about what I went through, some of the wins, some of the losses more so, but more so how I've changed now and reset myself to the life I have now and the things that mean more to me right now. So have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, what's the whole point of all this? Why are we doing what we do? What's the ultimate goal for all of this? And something I've been really having a lot of thoughts about lately, especially being over 50, it's something that comes to your mind quite a lot. What am I doing? Where have I gone wrong? What do I need to change? All of these sorts of things. And as I said, I've lived in multiple different countries. I've lived in Thailand, Germany, Cambodia, and now living in China. And every one of those countries that I moved to, I've had to adapt. I've had to change a little bit of who I am to fit into those countries. You know, languages, cultures, routines, things, the way things are done, all those sorts of things I had to learn and adapt to it. But also you need to find who you are in those countries. What circle of friends, what community groups, what do you want? And I think that's where I went wrong. I changed and gave too much of myself to that I basically lost myself. I lost my identity. I lost my true core self of what I wanted to get out of my life. That's where I went wrong. And you know, you need to make these changes. I'm not saying these changes were wrong. I made the mistakes that got me to where I am now, and I wouldn't go back and change those. But they've also brought me to a place now where I'm in a good relationship. I'm a lot more secure with myself, but they did come at a cost. So you know what, I moved to China. I've been living in China 10 years now, and when I moved here, it was a bit of a mess, but you know, I thought I'd finally worked it out. I thought I'd finally worked out what it is that I needed to take charge of my life, that was going to get me where I needed to be. But I was wrong. I was not just wrong, I was really wrong. It cost me everything, and I mean everything. I screwed up the previous relationship. I started a business that basically failed. I tried to scramble out of that a few different ways, but no, I literally came to a point where I had nothing. I had people surrounding me who had what I thought was a life, but really at the end of the day, I had nothing. I had nothing to show for it. And that's what really drove that, you know, that knife in the heart. It means you feel like, well, why am I doing this? What is the whole purpose of this? And it wasn't until then that I basically hit bottom and said, you know what, I need to fix this. I need to have a way of keeping control of my life on my terms, not being dictated by other people of how to live my life. And I needed to make a change. I definitely needed a reset. I pretty much got that reset by losing everything, but it made me starting to realize that there was more to it than just turning the wheels, saying yes to everything, trying to reach that ultimate level of success through money, things, people, contacts, everything else. That was not the sign of success that I needed. So yeah, I definitely needed this reset, and it's been fun. And since all that happened, as unpleasant as it was, I have made a lot of changes and reset myself a lot in a lot of different areas too.
I started moving away from saying yes to everything. I reduced a lot of the things that were draining my energy, if that's the right way to phrase it. And I spend more time now focusing on what truly matters, what I really want to get out of my life, what matters to me, what makes me happy, what gives me value every day. It may not look the same to everybody else, but this is what's really worked the best for me. And I have no problem now saying no to things that don't align with that, to anything that's going to cut into my time or to steal my time from me, to steal energy from me that I don't want to be giving. Then I have no time for that. I just basically very bluntly say no. Sorry, I'm not going to go down that way. So. And now that I've started going that way, and I've set up routines and I stick to my routines. I mean, I like to still go to the gym. I make time for coffee most days. I will read. I will do some creative stuff myself. I will do things that I find value in every day, that really I enjoy doing every day. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what I think matters to a lot of us, is if we're not, we don't need to chase. We don't need to make everybody else happy. We don't need to conform to the mold of success, of owning a house, a car, and all this other stuff, and all these certain level of measures. At the end of the day, it comes down to how you want to spend each day yourself. What do you want to be giving your time to on every day yourself? And to me, I think I've found that now. I mean, it's not going to be here in China forever. I'm going to move on. But I now have a better idea of how to control my emotions, to control my energy, to control my time when I move to new locations, to master that time, to stick to those routines that matter to me, to stick to the life that I want to be living. That's basically what I'm trying to achieve now.